Coming up on AgweekTV, we'll find out about the agenda of the new House Ag Committee leadership. Talk about the future of wind energy in North Dakota.
We'll take a look at how one business is a one-stop shop for all your beekeeping and poultry needs.
On the Agweek Soil Health Minute, we'll talk about reducing tillage and how to change your mindset to make it work.
And state legislative sessions kick off in the region. We'll preview their ag agenda. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Michelle Rook. We kicked off 2021 at the 37th Dakota Farm Show in Vermilion. This has always been the first show of the year, and the tradition carried on even with the pandemic, because officials with Midwest shows say the event supports an essential industry. The newly remodeled Dakota Dome hosted more than 240 vendors, many of whom unveiled new products and technologies. Crowds were decent despite COVID, and the mood was positive due to the improving ag economic climate.
You know, everybody's here kind of featuring, what's new, what the focus is. I think grain prices are up a little bit. That's a positive when you're hosting a farm show, and so that's nice to see.
Riles says they hope that translates into improved spending among ag businesses. A new Congress means new faces, but this is especially true this year in the House Ag Committee. Ranking member Mike Conaway did not run for a re-election, and Chair Colin Peterson was defeated. So what will the new leadership agenda be? AgriPulse's Spencer Chase reports from Washington.
The House and Senate are back in session for the 117th Congress, which officially kicked off on January 3rd. Democrats remain in the majority, with familiar faces like Nancy Pelosi filling key positions. But the House Ag Committee will have new leadership. With former committee chair Colin Peterson of Minnesota losing his re-election effort, Georgia Democrat David Scott will take the committee gavel with an aim to maintain the panel's bipartisan tradition. He says addressing climate change will be a major priority under his leadership.
For if we don't get a handle on this with the right information, and get it out of being this political football that's being thrown, it is our farmers who are suffering the most and who benefit the most.
The committee will also have a new Republican ranking member, Glenn Thompson of Pennsylvania. He says the bipartisanship on the committee should continue, but wants to see a quick focus on the next farm bill.
It's time to start hearing from USDA directly, to hearing from farmers and ranchers and folks within rural communities of with the last farm bill, what's working, what's not working, what no longer needs to be addressed, and what has not been attended to as of yet.
The rest of the committee roster will be determined at a later date. Reporting in Washington for AgweekTV, Spencer Chase, AgriPulse.
The same groups that successfully won a lawsuit against the 2018 Dicamba registrations have filed another lawsuit challenging EPA's latest round of approvals. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will again consider whether EPA violated federal law registering new Dicamba labels in October 2020 after the same court vacated 3 registrations on the herbicide just 5 months earlier. The suit echoes the plaintiff's past successful case. Meanwhile, farmers with soybean yield losses from off-target drift the past 6 years can file claims as part of a $400 million settlement with Bayer. South Dakota's 2021 legislative session kicks off January 12th. While the focus will be on the state budget, COVID, and marijuana, there will be a host of issues on the ag agenda. The governor is proposing a merger of the Ag Department and DENR, while the state is offering policy to improve water quality, including giving farmers a break on property taxes for installing riparian buffer strips.
That underlying property tax incentive law, we're looking at ways to improve that, while also providing a new project-based solution that provide producers on a voluntary basis an incentive to follow those guidelines.
Roberts says they're working on interstate meat shipment and assisting small meat processors to expand and get federally inspected. North Dakota legislators are set to tackle grain dealer regulation, drainage, and CAFO issues. State Senator Larry Lueck, chairman of the Senate Ag Committee, says the legislature will look at clarifying protocols for confined animal feeding operations and animal feeding operations. He'd like to see the rules for setbacks uniform across the state rather than significant differences among counties and townships.
So that everybody is on the same page within their counties and townships to get these either negated or approved.
Lueck says he expects much of the testimony in the 2021 session to be online because of COVID. In Minnesota, the legislature convened this week with many key ag issues at play. Stu Laurie, a lobbyist for the Farmers Union, says their top issue, as it has been for several years, is health care. Many farmers buy health insurance on the individual market, which is quite expensive, so they want a more affordable solution.
I think we could make meaningful progress in Minnesota with a Minnesota Care buy-in option, similar to what the governor proposed in 2019. If we could flip a switch and change something and make a real material difference for farmers and their families, that would be it.
He says other major issues for them will be increasing capacity for meat processing, promoting biofuels, and pandemic recovery. Ahead on AgweekTV, the North Dakota legislature may make a major shift in supporting renewable energy sources like wind.
Growing up as a kid, Gateway was always the grain bin building and the grain handling people that were out in our area. One of the reasons we chose to go with Gateway was they're the leader in the industry and they are the #1 Brock dealer in the United States. We've really liked the Brock design and some of the designs that Gateway has come up with throughout the years. My best advice would be to just put your trust in them and let them come up with the design that's going to fit your needs.
This is Dennis Belisky reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
When you think about it, productivity starts at planting. So it's time to rethink how productive your planter can be. We did with the new Case IH 2000 Series Early Riser Planter. We rethought your row unit so it's tougher, more accurate. We rethought your meter, took the most precise technology, factory installed it. We rethought every inch of the Case IH Early Riser Planter to make it the most productive planter around. And if you think about it, that's exactly what you want.
Small or large, Supplier Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you with a wide variety of bin options and accessories, along with site planning and superior customer service. Plus, from top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with generations of experience and dependability. Make the superior choice today with Supplier Grain Equipment.
Agweek brings you timely agriculture news from field to fork in digital, print, and television. Fresh every week, join Jenny Schlecht from the Agweek editorial team and me, Al Windmill, from the sales and marketing team for a deeper dive into farm and ranch stories, along with guest interviews with personalities from the world of agriculture. If you're involved in farming, ranching, or agribusiness, the Agweek podcast is the show for you.
Welcome back. A North Dakota farmer and lawmaker thinks the 2021 legislative session could be a turning point for wind development in the state. However, it could come at the expense of other renewable energy sources like ethanol and biodiesel. Michael Pates reports in this week's Agweek cover story on this complex situation.
The fact of the matter is that our consumers, or the buyers of the power, are wanting renewables.
Mike Brandenburg has represented constituents in South Central North Dakota in the state legislature for more than 20 years. He's worried coal interests will push policies that will move energy co-ops out of the state to get their desired wind and renewable sources, harming the state's ag processing along the way.
I feel bad for the coal people. I wish it wasn't happening to them. I wish we all were prospering.
But he says the fact of the matter is coal is a more expensive form of energy than several renewable options. He warns that what he considers a futile effort to keep coal jobs in 5 counties will drive large power companies out of the state, forfeiting current and future ag processing investments that benefit the rest of the state.
You've got not only people saying, well, we don't want wind. Well, then we just will say we don't want a ethanol plant in Falkirk. We don't want a soybean plant in Spiritwood, and we don't want a biodiesel plant in Dickinson.
Where wind development is going forward in the state, contracts are both an opportunity and a dilemma for farmland owners and farm operators. David Varnick farms near Jamestown. During the 2020 harvest, 2 competing wind development companies approached him with contracts to install wind towers on his land for a proposed project in Lemoore and Stutsman counties.
I'm just going to take the slow, cautious approach and, try to do my homework and research and tell my landlords, it might be a great thing. It might be a wonderful thing. But let's take our time because the consequences are going to last forever.
In Lemoore County, North Dakota, this is Mikkel Pates for Agweek.
You can read more on this in the next Agweek magazine or at agweek.com. There's been growing interest in backyard farming for years, but the pandemic really kicked it into high gear. Many people are spending their time at home gardening and adding bees or even chickens. Emily Beal visited a Minnesota business that supplies professionals and hobbyists with everything they need.
We just want to be that one-stop shop where anybody can get what they need for their backyard hobbies.
Jenna Przowski loves seeing the booming interest in urban farming. It's a good hobby and it's good for business. She's the sales and customer service manager at Man Lake Limited.
If you walk through our store, we really do have a unique shopping experience. You can go into just your farm supply stores, and yes, they have little sections for bees, they have little sections for chickens, but you walk into our store and it's everything that you need for keeping these animals.
Man Lake started in a garage nearly 40 years ago and has grown steadily since then. The company does a lot of their own manufacturing of bee and chicken supplies to ensure the highest quality. They have 270 employees in Hackensack with 7 distribution centers and 5 production facilities around the country.
We want to make sure that we have what the beekeeper needs when they need it. That's paramount for us. Unsurpassed customer service is critically important in what we do.
For all your beekeeping and poultry needs, Man Lake has you covered. It's helping us grow in ways that we didn't even know were possible. With Agweek, I'm Emily Beal in Hackensack, Minnesota.
Their products are available at manlake.com or on Amazon. Coming up on AgweekTV, we'll meet a farm family working to improve wildlife habitat on their land. And later on, in the Soil Health Minute, some tips for reducing tillage on your land.
The annual Northern Corn and Soybean Expo is happening soon, and it's easier than ever to attend. Join the 2-day virtual event February 23rd and 24th from anywhere, snow or shine. Hear from your host, Tyne Morgan, as she moderates the U.S. Farm Report with market specialists. Weather expert Eric Snodgrass will take a look at risks for the upcoming growing season, and the Shark Farmer will dive into agricultural advocacy. Check out the schedule and register today at northerncornsoyexpo.com.
At Superior Grain Equipment, we're committed to quality and service, offering you the best in grain storage and dryers for any size operation. Our experts will work with you to determine the most efficient and economical storage solution for your needs. We help protect your bottom line and your future with the industry's best bins and warranties. Make the superior choice for protection today and tomorrow with Superior Grain Equipment.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
Go beyond the headlines with an Agweek membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to Agweek and AgweekTV.
January weather has continued with above normal temperatures, but below normal precip, and that's becoming a concern in the region. Will that stretch into spring? Here's John with our agri-weather outlook.
Midway through January, where is the cold weather? We haven't had much cold. Granted, we've had freezing weather. We've had snow into the northern plains, the upper Midwest. We just haven't had that first round of really, truly frigid weather. We have not smelled the Arctic this entire winter season. There are some signs we'll see some of that. To what extent? Well, we'll talk about that in just a minute. And the other thing is that it looks like this cold weather will be coming in on a series of a couple of little clippers. One at the end of this week and one sometime next week. And each one of those will bring a chance of snow to the region. But Alberta clippers, you may recall, their snow tends to come in narrow swaths, and they often produce more wind than snow. So we're not talking very much precipitation for the northern plains or upper Midwest region over the next couple of weeks. Let's go through the pattern right now. Since so about the Christmas time, it's been a lot of fog, a lot of clouds. And on into the first few days of the new year, not much cold weather. It's been fairly cool down south with some occasional spurts of warmer weather. But because of the split flow pattern, we're keeping the really cold stuff locked up in the Arctic and not getting it to come very far south. Certainly the blue, the freezing weather, we've been seeing some of that into the northern plains and upper Midwest and Great Lakes region. We've even had at times some fairly cold weather all the way down to the deep south. We just haven't seen that frigid weather come around. Well, watch what happens to the jet stream toward about the end of this week, the start of next week. These two jets are going to start to combine, it looks like, and as they do so, watch the frigid air come southward. Now, how cold this air will end up being is a tough call. When cold weather first arrives, it's really hard to get a sense of how strong or how cold that air is going to be, simply because we don't have anything to gauge it with, right? We don't know how it's going to interact. As it comes from the high Arctic, its character is changed, and it's really difficult to know in advance the first round how cold it's going to be. My suspicion is in at least the next couple of weeks, we're not going to experience any unusually cold weather anywhere, but we may in fact get some weather down with highs to near zero into some parts of the region before January is out. Precipitation-wise, watch for the clipper. They'll come out of this region, move through fairly quickly. They'll probably produce some areas of lake effect snow on the downstream sides of the Great Lakes. There's not going to be very likely a lot of heavy snow outside of that, but I do expect a whitening sometime late this coming week into the northern plains. The west pretty dry, except for the Pacific Northwest, which will have more than its share of rain and snow. And as we move on into the second week, colder weather beginning to be more consequential into the northern plains anyway. I don't see this really sweeping through the country, but there will be some cold weather and probably at least one more clipper system, some lake effect snows, some rain in the southeast, southern plains mostly dry, northern Rockies, Pacific Northwest. You'll get your share of Pacific moisture next 2 weeks.
Challenges. We all face them at some time. But it seems that ag has seen its fair share over the past few years. Has your farming operation been able to stand the challenges? If not, maybe it's time to talk to the risk management specialist at Martinson Ag. We can help you make the sound decisions to help your operation weather the storm. Martinson Ag, your one-stop shop for crop insurance, livestock insurance, and marketing. We are here to take your operation to the next level.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
This off-season's downtime is the perfect chance to get ready for spring with North Star Ag's lineup of quality farm equipment. We carry Meridian Seed Express bulk tenders for seed handling in the field, Batco conveyors for moving grain and seed at the farm, plus Meridian Grain Max hopper bins for quality storage at great prices. We've also got high output, easy to operate Valmar fertilizer spreaders ready to go. Visit northstar-ag.com or stop by our new location off I-94 in Tower City, North Dakota to see our full lineup.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
We're going to talk today about a revolutionary auto steer product that you guys have developed.
We back one of these things in, it'll drain a 40-acre patch just within hours.
What can you tell us about what dairy farmers do to make sure that their animals are happy?
Their care is our primary concern.
Is there still time for producers to get storage bins up?
Absolutely. We still can definitely get something up and ready for corn harvest.
Pheasants Forever has a vested interest in preserving and improving the habitat that birds and other wildlife need to thrive. A Kansas family is working with Pheasants Forever and the United Sorghum Checkoff to improve that habitat, along with improving their soil health and bottom line.
Hope and a dream and some ground that we're standing on right now.
Garrett Love's dad, Greg, wasn't a farmer until he bought this farm when Garrett was 3. It started as 2 quarters in southwest Kansas. It's grown to 10,000 acres of corn, beans, wheat, and sorghum. And it's all done with an eye to the land.
Conservation, tillage, and work with our different rotations with more residue on the ground is just huge in preserving our soil, and that soil is our future.
Greg Love and now Garrett have always had an interest in conservation.
Protecting the soil, protecting the moisture that we have. He was one of the earlier farmers to move to minimum till and then into no-till. That's been a huge plus for our production, but it's also been really good for the wildlife. We have cover throughout the year.
So they started creating wildlife habitat on their land. A big part of that plan is their sorghum crop. It's a water-efficient cereal grain that leaves a lot of residue that protects the soil. It can grow in a drought, and game birds love it. So that all adds up to good conservation efforts. The Sorghum Checkoff has been a good partner.
We also want to be supporting our growers as they continue to improve their practices, look for those better ways to do things that are good for their farm, that are good for the environment, that are good all around.
Wildlife conservation and agriculture are not mutually exclusive.
Chris McClelland works with conservation partners and landowners like the Loves to help the landowners identify good spots for habitat and then implement it.
We can really make a big impact for wildlife conservation and help them be more productive. We want healthy, strong bottom lines, and we want to see habitat on the ground.
The Loves started turning some of their corners and other small, unproductive areas to grass for pheasant nesting areas. These corners, coupled with sorghum, provide pheasants with food, shelter, and water. As an added value for their farm, they bring hunters in from around the country.
Being able to generate some extra income, that's presented more opportunities for us to be back working on the farm.
So with that in mind, the Love family will continue to implement conservation efforts that benefit them and wildlife.
The wind blows and it takes literally future with it. Yeah, a lot of what we do for long-term sustainability is for future generations. My 5-year-old already says she's a farmer.
Near Montezuma, Kansas, this is Rose Dunn for Agweek.
Coming up on the Soil Health Minute, we'll talk about reducing tillage and how to make it work for your operation.
Schedule an uptime inspection for your equipment with the Case IH service professionals at your local Titan Machinery. Our Case IH certified service technicians have the training, experience, and genuine Case IH parts to ensure your equipment is ready for next season. Planting and harvesting windows are short. Have confidence in your equipment's performance with a Titan Machinery multi-point uptime inspection. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH service leader.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems, the #1 Brock bin dealer in the U.S., is locally owned and provides turnkey convenience with factory direct product, complete design services, and in-house construction. Now's the perfect time to take advantage of discounts on Brock solid bins, grain dryers, and aeration systems. For more information, go online to gatewaybuilding.com or call 1-800-747-4499.
For Agweek, this is Mikkel Pates at Watertown, South Dakota.
We'll look at the positive impacts that dairy can have on the community.
A Minnesota couple has put a grain bin to a new use. Spoiler alert, it's not grain.
This elaborate system of tubing with the downhill slope is how Maplewood State Park gathers sap to make syrup.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
The Agweek Soil Health Minute is sponsored by the North Dakota Corn Council.
Conservation tillage systems and soil health continue to grow in interest. However, in this month's Soil Health Minute, Agweek asks an expert about how to help producers still apprehensive about making the change.
This week for the Agweek Soil Health Minute, I get a lot of questions about reducing tillage and can we do it in the Northern Plains? So I went to one of the experts, Anthony Bly, who is a field soil specialist at SDSU. And Anthony, I just wanted to ask you, we hear so much about why reduced till can't work in the Northern Plains. Can you tell us what evidence you have or why you know that it can work?
Well, the biggest thing for me is just looking around. There are several examples throughout Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota where producers are making it work. We need to turn to them and use their experiences as a jumping point to start it on our own farm.
Where does somebody get started with these practices?
Well, I think of South Dakota, my home state, and our Soil Health Coalition and NRCS has developed a mentoring network. And there's a lot of good examples of how that mentoring network has functioned. And it's there because those producers are willing to help other producers who have those questions. And so I just recommend, find someone that's doing it in your area and just make friends and learn from them, because they have experienced a lot of the issues that you're going to experience as you embark down that road.
Great. Well, thank you. Whether you're looking at NDSU resources or SDSU resources, to me, it's all the same, and to get the most information you possibly can. So thank you, Anthony, for joining us on the Soil Health Minute.
Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgweekTV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Have yourself a great and safe week.